Good morning. For the first time in a 30-year career as a neurologist, I'm going to do something a little unusual. I'm inviting you into my home, into my kitchen, to reveal the exact foods I eat every single day to protect my own brain from the relentless march of time. This morning, a simple question from a loved one stopped me in my tracks. After all these years studying the brain, they asked, after seeing thousands of patients, what do you actually eat to protect your own mind? That question made me realize something but profound. You, my community, deserve to know not just the science I preach in my clinic, but the personal practice I live by every day. At 65 years old, my memory is sharper than it was a decade ago. I can recall patient names, complex case details from years past, and engage in deep, focused conversations for hours without mental fatigue. Let me be clear. This is not a genetic lottery ticket. It is the direct result of deliberate, science-backed nutritional choices I have made consistently for the last 20 years. Today, I am sharing the 6 specific foods that form the bedrock of my neuroprotective diet. This isn't about dozens of expensive supplements or exotic, hard-to-find ingredients. These are 6 simple, accessible foods you can find in any supermarket. But when consumed strategically, they hold the power to keep your brain firing on all cylinders, well into your golden years. The difference between a neurologist, who merely studies the brain, and one who actively nurtures his own, lies in the intimate details I'm about to share with you. Before I pull back the curtain on these personal secrets, I want to ask for something that connects me more deeply with you. If you find this personal insight valuable, if you're curious to learn how a neurologist truly walks the walk, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Every subscription tells me there's one more person ready to apply real science to their daily life, not just listen to abstract theories. Now, to understand my choice of these 6 specific foods, you need to understand my core food philosophy. I call it strategic simplicity. After reviewing thousands of scientific studies, observing the brains of my healthiest patients, and decades of self-experimentation, I came to a revolutionary conclusion. It is far better to consistently consume a few foods with extraordinary brain benefits than to chase endless lists of superfoods that ultimately become unsustainable. These 6 foods were not chosen at random. Each one meets a strict set of criteria I developed over my career. It must have robust scientific evidence for brain health. It must be sustainable to eat daily. It must have multiple neuroprotective mechanisms of action. And it must be affordable for most people. Food number 1. My sacred morning blueberries. The very first thing I consume every morning, without exception for the last 15 years, is a bowl of fresh blueberries. But I don't just eat them casually. I have a specific ritual designed to maximize their brain-boosting power. Every morning, at precisely 6:30 a.m., before I look at a single screen, before I read the news, I walk to my kitchen and prepare what some affectionately call blue medicine. It's 1 exact cup of fresh blueberries, which I chew slowly, mindfully, as I watch the sunrise from my kitchen window. Why this specific ritual? The science is fascinating. Blueberries contain compounds called anthocyanins, the pigments that give them their deep blue color. These remarkable molecules can cross the blood-brain barrier and accumulate in the hippocampus, the brain's memory center, which is critical for my work. But my choice was also deeply personal. About 10 years ago, I started noticing occasional minor memory lapses, forgetting small details from patient conversations. Nothing dramatic, but as a neurologist, any change in my own cognitive function was a 5-alarm fire. So, I began my personal blueberry experiment. For 6 months, I meticulously documented my memory function before and after incorporating this daily cup of blueberries. The results were so profound I never stopped. My ability to recall names, clinical details, and hold complex information in my mind during long consultations improved dramatically. And the science fully backs my experience. One landmark study published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry showed that older adults who consumed blueberries daily for 12 weeks demonstrated significant improvements in memory and executive function. Their brain scans even revealed increased activity in memory-related regions. But my morning ritual has another crucial component. I never eat them with added sugar, sweetened yogurt, or processed cereals. I eat them plain to avoid a glucose spike that would counteract their neuroprotective benefits. My brain gets the pure, unadulterated power of the anthocyanins, and the slow, mindful chewing isn't just for contemplation. It has a neuroscientific basis. The act of chewing stimulates blood flow to the brain, and mindful eating activates the prefrontal cortex, optimizing nutrient absorption. This ritual is more than just nutrition. It's my daily, conscious investment in my ability to continue serving my patients for many years to come. Food number 2. My intentional weekly salmon. The second pillar of my neuroprotective diet is a tradition I uphold every Tuesday and Friday: a 150-gram portion of wild-caught salmon, prepared in a specific way to maximize the absorption of omega-3 fatty acids. This wasn't a random choice. 8 years ago, on my 57th birthday, I decided to get a full fatty acid profile done on my blood, something I recommend to all my patients but had never done for myself. The results shocked me. My levels of DHA and EPA, the two most critical omega-3s for the brain, were at the low end of the normal range, despite what I thought was a healthy diet. That was a wake-up call. As a neurologist, I knew that DHA makes up 40% of the polyunsaturated fats in the brain. I knew it was essential for the integrity of every neuron's membrane, but for some reason, I hadn't consistently applied that knowledge to my own life. I decided to make salmon consumption a sacred ritual. Every Tuesday and Friday, without fail, I prepare my salmon the same way, baked at a moderate temperature with a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, a squeeze of fresh lemon, and fresh herbs. No breading, no processed sauces. I serve it with a side of fresh spinach and avocado, creating a perfect nutritional synergy. The healthy fats in the avocado enhance the absorption of the omega-3s from the salmon. The effects on my cognitive function have been measurable. My ability to maintain deep focus during long, complex procedures improved noticeably. My working memory, that crucial ability to hold multiple pieces of information in my mind at once, felt stronger. But the most impressive change was in my mood and resilience to stress. Omega-3s have a profound effect on neurotransmitters, like serotonin. I began to notice that the daily pressures of the hospital affected me less. A study that solidified my decision, published in the journal Alzheimer's Dementia, found that individuals with the highest blood levels of DHA had a 47% lower risk of developing dementia. 47%. That number is etched into my mind. 6 months after starting my salmon ritual, I had my blood tested again. My DHA and EPA levels had tripled, placing them in the optimal range. Food number 3, my mid-afternoon walnuts. The third non-negotiable element of my diet is a precise handful of 7 walnuts, which I eat every day at 3 p.m. This routine was born from a personal observation. Every afternoon, like clockwork, I would experience a subtle but consistent dip in my mental sharpness. I initially dismissed it as the natural post-lunch slump, but upon closer inspection, I realized my brain was experiencing a predictable energy crash. So, I designed my 3 p.m. walnut intervention. 7 walnuts, no more, no less, eaten mindfully with a large glass of water. The precision isn't an obsession, it's applied science. 7 walnuts provide the perfect dose of alpha-linolenic acid, the plant-based omega-3, along with natural vitamin E and high-quality protein. This specific combination gives my brain the sustained energy it needs for the most demanding part of my day. The effects were immediate. That afternoon, brain fog vanished completely. My concentration during late afternoon consultations remained as sharp as it was in the morning. A study from UCLA that deeply impressed me showed that regular walnut consumption specifically improves information processing speed and working memory. The participants showed measurable improvements in the exact cognitive functions I had noticed improving in my own practice. Furthermore, walnuts contain natural melatonin, meaning my 3 p.m. snack is also subtly preparing my brain for a restful night's sleep. It's a perfect synergy: cognitive energy for the afternoon and preparation for nocturnal rest. Food number 4. My ceremonial green tea. The fourth pillar of my routine is a personal ceremony I perform every day at 4:30 p.m. The mindful preparation and consumption of a high-quality cup of green tea. This tradition began during one of the most stressful periods of my career, during my fellowship in geriatric neurology. The 16-hour days and the emotional toll of working with patients facing devastating neurodegenerative diseases were overwhelming. I was experiencing profound mental burnout. Coffee just made it worse, with its jarring peaks and crashes. It was a wise, visiting mentor who introduced me to the power of green tea. Coffee shouts at your brain to wake up, he told me. Green tea whispers to it that it's time to shine. My ritual is specific. I heat filtered water to exactly 80 degrees Celsius. Boiling water destroys the tea's delicate compounds. I steep high-quality loose-leaf green tea for exactly 3.5 minutes. I drink it slowly, over 15 minutes, with no distractions. The neurological effects are a beautiful synergy. The L-theanine in the tea promotes alpha brainwaves, which are associated with a state of calm, focused creativity. At the same time, the natural caffeine provides a gentle lift, without the anxiety or jitters of coffee. But the most powerful component is EGCG, a polyphenol that crosses the blood-brain barrier and stimulates neurogenesis, the creation of new brain cells even at my age. A Japanese study that followed over 13,000 older adults found that those who drank 3 or more cups of green tea daily had a 50% lower risk of cognitive decline. 50%. This daily ritual has become my anchor of calm in the daily storm of a medical career. Food number 5. My nightly dark chocolate. The fifth element of my neuroprotective arsenal is perhaps the most enjoyable. 20 grams of 85% cacao dark chocolate, which I consume every night at 8 p.m. This tradition began 10 years ago out of pure scientific curiosity. I had been reading emerging studies on cacao flavonoids and their effects on cerebral blood flow. The science is fascinating. The flavonoids in dark chocolate, particularly epicatechin, have a unique ability to improve blood flow to the brain, both immediately and sustainably. But the timing of my ritual is crucial. I consume the chocolate exactly 2 hours before my typical bedtime. It takes about 2 hours for these flavonoids to reach peak concentration in the bloodstream, and I want them arriving in my brain just as I'm entering the deepest stages of sleep. During deep sleep, the brain activates its glymphatic system, its cleanup crew, which flushes out toxins. The chocolate flavonoids enhance this nightly detoxification process. The effects have been subtle, but profound. My sleep quality improved noticeably, but the most remarkable benefit is cognitive. My memory consolidation during sleep has optimized. Complex medical concepts I studied during the day seem to crystallize more efficiently in my long-term memory overnight. Food number 6. My strategic Sunday eggs. The sixth and final pillar of my diet is a family tradition I've turned into conscious, preventative medicine. My 2 organic, whole eggs, which I consume every Sunday morning. This Sunday ritual has both scientific and emotional roots. Sunday is my day for reflection and planning, and the choice of eggs is strategically neuroscientific. During the week, my brain is constantly using acetylcholine, the crucial neurotransmitter for memory, focus, and learning. The choline in egg yolks is the direct building block for acetylcholine, and Sunday is my weekly recharge of this essential nutrient. I prepare my eggs poached, a technique that preserves their nutrients without adding unhealthy fats. A study from Boston University that followed over 1,000 adults for 10 years found that those with the highest choline intake performed significantly better on memory tests and had less cognitive decline over time. But there is an emotional aspect to my Sunday eggs that I consider equally important. They represent a moment of calm contemplation in a life defined by high-stress decisions. This practice of mindful eating reduces my cortisol levels and creates the optimal physiological state for neural repair and regeneration. So, I want to ask you a question to connect more deeply with your own experiences. Which of these 6 foods seems easiest for you to incorporate into your routine? And which one presents the biggest challenge? Please share your thoughts in the comments. I personally commit to reading every response and offering specific suggestions to help you adapt these habits to your lifestyle. My dear friends, we have reached the end of this intimate journey through my personal kitchen and my neuroprotective food choices. By sharing these 6 pillars, I have opened a window into my personal life, into the conscious decisions I make every day to preserve the mind I need to serve my patients and enjoy my life to the fullest. I want you to take away 3 profound messages from our conversation. First, the difference between knowing the science and living it lies in the intimate details, in the consistent rituals. My morning blueberries are not just fruit. They are my daily preventative medicine. My weekly salmon is not just protein. It's my investment in the integrity of my neural membranes. Second, strategic simplicity is more powerful than overwhelming complexity. In my career, I've seen patients try to follow endless lists of supplements and complicated diets, only to abandon them out of frustration. My approach is radically different. 6 specific foods, consumed in specific ways for specific purposes. It is far easier to maintain 6 powerful habits for decades than to try and follow 30 recommendations for a few weeks. Long-term sustainability will always beat short-term perfection. And third, consciously caring for your brain through food is not vanity. It is a personal and social responsibility. Your brain holds decades of experience, wisdom, and precious memories. Protecting this cognitive wealth is not just self-care. It is preserving a personal treasure that deserves to be shared with future generations. Every conscious food choice you make is an act of love toward your future mind. Every blueberry is protecting a memory. Every portion of salmon is strengthening a neural connection. Every walnut is fueling your ability to focus. Every cup of green tea is optimizing your mental state. Every square of dark chocolate is improving your brain's blood flow. And every egg is replenishing the very building blocks of your thoughts. Thank you.